Hello learners, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is your boss man Sagar.Utekar and today you are watching day 16 of Linux, the final boss series. So today we are going to discuss about security, firewalls and system hardening. I know you will ask why this is important for the DevOps or SRE engineers. But trust me, this is the one of those gray areas where DevOps or SRE engineers don't touch because nobody teaches it. And this is my trick, especially whenever I'm going for the interview, I always talk about the cost and security, mainly security. And that gives you the brownie points because not DevOps and SRE engineers are very well with the security part. That is why I decided that my learners should know the security parts of the Linux. And in the future learnings or the future videos, we are going to talk about the Kubernetes security, Docker security, but fundamental security in Linux is very important. So this is going to be a very, very important topic for your Linux journey. So make sure you watch this video till the end. I have designed a lot of labs, included interview questions, a lot of tips and tricks, important commands for the security. So let's get started without wasting time. As I said, today we are going to discuss about security, firewalls, and hardening. By the end of day 16, you will have a clear understanding of Linux security fundamentals and Linux security model. You will be able to configure and manage firewalls. You will be able to set up your own intrusion detection and prevention system on your Linux system. You will be able to perform security audits and vulnerability assessment. Now, in lot of DevOps and SRE JDs, you will find that if you have a security um, understanding, then you get an advantage. Your profile will get shortlisted. If you talk about the security in your resume, your profile gets very highlighted and strengthened in front of the recruiters. And that is why I want to help you. I want to help all my learners to learn about the security. Not in detail. We don't need to be a security expert, but the basics should be very strong. Why security matters or why hardening matters in Linux system. You might have come across a lot of articles about data breaches or some of the companies are getting certifications such as SOC 2 or ISO certifications, or some of the companies have downtime like AWS or Cloudflare because of security incidents, and that happens a lot. We as a DevOps racer engineers need to know about the security and how to harden our system. So that is why security and hardening matters to avoid those kind of data breaches, to avoid to prevent the downtime or maintain the business continuity after the security attacks. How you can minimize those attacks, how you can prevent those security attacks. Okay, so I have given the sample environment setup which you can follow these instructions to set up your own environment. Locally, you can use virtual box setup which we discussed in previous chapters, previous videos, or you can configure, you can spin up EC2 instance or any virtual machine. That is totally fine. Now let's talk about the Linux security fundamentals first. In the first part, we are going to discuss about the threat landscape. What is threat landscape? So threat landscape is a set of potential attackers, their motives and methods. We are also going to discuss about the known vulnerabilities and common attack vectors targeting system. Because as a DevOps engineers, you are going to work with lot of servers. It can be Linux servers or the Windows servers, doesn't matter. But taking security measures for those servers is our responsibility. Nonetheless, you are going to work with the security team, but as a prime owner of that infrastructure, you should be aware about what kind of security attacks you can expect, and that will help you to secure your system on your own. It's not about the interviews, it's also about real time when you're working on that system. You don't accidentally open some ports or keep create some loophole in your system which will um, help attackers to gain the access. That is why the security knowledge is very important. There are different types of threat types: brute force, privilege escalation, malware or rootkits, DDoS attacks, data breaches, insider threats, zero-day exploits, social engineering. So what is brute force attacks? Brute force are nothing but attacker trying to repeatedly doing a logging attempts using SSH, web blockings, or FTP to gain the account information or the system access. Um, then privilege escalation, where attacker tries to gain the higher permissions for your system. Okay. For example, it is very important for you to have the implementation of the least privilege in your system. Whoever needs the access, give the access, limited access to them, not more, not less. Okay. Malware and rootkits, those are the malicious softwares which gets installed on your system by downloading some softwares or the emails or the USB drives. DDoS attacks, which is kind of overwhelming your system's resources. Data breaches is nothing but unauthorized access to data accesses. Insider threats, malicious internal users, zero-day exploits are unknown vulnerabilities. Social engineering are um, manipulating humans in your organization or the team by doing some phishing or pretexting for the credential theft or the access. So that is the threat landscape overall. Okay. Then security principle. The core security principle is based on the confidentiality, integrity, availability, defense in depth, and the list of principle of least privilege. Okay. What is confidentiality? Confidentiality is nothing but information accessible only to authorized users. This is important in your Linux, in Kubernetes, Docker. So when you're working on the Kubernetes cluster, it's very important to give the limited access to different users, because one cluster, I'm repeating again, one cluster is going to be used by entire team, and there can be multiple different sub teams as well. So you need to decide how much access to give to the cluster, because somebody can delete the entire cluster or some pods which are important to run your business, and that you can't allow. That is why implementing the security is very important. Integrity, providing the information remains accurate and unaltered. Availability, information accessible when it's needed. Defense in depth, and some common references for the security assessment. So these are the commands which we have already used in our previous videos, or we have discussed this in previous videos. SS for the showing network connections, netstat for the network statistics, LSOF for list open files and the connections, show running processes, managing services, find files by criteria, grep, last b, foo, w. So what trying to explain you is that, see, this security part for us is very important. For example, when I was working in my previous organization, we used to do the security audits time to time, every month or every year. We had to do those security audits because you know many. If I take an example of some one of my friend who was working with a EU client, it is very important for them, um, their product to have the GDPR compliant or the HIPAA compliant, or to have these certifications to then only your customer will continue using your product, otherwise no. The having your system compliant is very important. Making sure you are um, complying with the GDPR regulations or the HIPAA regulations is very important for a lot of products. And we as a DevOps is our engineers, we need to take care of our system. How do we take care? We have a meetings with a security team, which provides a list of different assessment tickets, and we need to fix those tickets. That's where this Linux knowledge will come handy to you. But um, you also can do a security assessment of your system using the commands which we discussed. Okay, just try to run this command, try to find out which are the open ports or the open files on your system. If you're not Make sure you are not providing excessive access to any users on your system. Yeah. um, that's about the security assessment. Next thing is firewall configuration management. We have discussed this in previous chapters as well. What is firewall? In simple words, a firewall is a network security system that monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predefined security rules. When we are talking about the Linux server, we need to make sure we we are opening the limited network ports for the incoming traffic and also controlling the outgoing traffic from our system. That is how you can, that is what you can implement using firewall. So Linux provides different commands: UFW, which is available in Ubuntu and Debian; firewalld, which is available in Rails, CentOS, Fedora; iptable commands is available in all Linux; nftable is a modern Linux command, and it's a replacement for the iptable command. Check out this UFW, which is nothing but uncomplicated firewall. There are different options. You can enable or disable firewall using UFW enable or the UFW disable. You can check the status of your firewall using UFW status. You can allow the traffic on particular port using UFW allow, port number, and the protocol. You can also block the traffic on particular port using UFW deny command, or remove the rule using UFW delete. So check out these commands and make sure you practice them at least with couple of ports. I have given a couple of examples here and additional hands-on challenges for you. Okay. Similarly, iptable is very important command when you are going to work with the networking in the Docker or the Kubernetes. That is why I decided to cover the iptables command here. You can check out the different commands available with the iptables. It is going to show you the iptable rules. Iptables -l -n will list all the rules. If you want to allow SSH port or the HTTP port, the command is iptables capital A input. The protocol is TCP. The destination port is 22, and you are allowing. Okay, so this is how you can add or remove the rules in the IP table. You don't need to remember everything, but at least having a basic knowledge of which command to use when is going to help you a lot. Okay. Firewall D is optional because if you have a Rails system CentOS for the Fedora, then you can try to run the firewall D firewall command and practice it. The next part is system hardening. System hardening is a process of reducing an operating system or the application's attack surface by applying configurations, policies, or the code controls to the system is more secure and resilient. It includes removing or disabling unnecessary services, applying security configuration baselines, tightening file and network permission, enforcing strong authentication, patching encryption sensitive data, and enabling auditing and monitoring. So there are different categories into system hardening. It's not one thing you do it here. So you talk about the file system, you talk about the network permission, you talk about enforcing security, um, authentication, patching your system, encrypting sensitive data, enabling auditing and monitoring. So all of this comes under the system hardening. Okay, we have already covered all these commands, but we never um, thought about this command from the security perspective. We only knew that ch command is there to change the file permission, a ch own command is there to change the file permission. But have we ever thought about what what is the real usage of controlling the access for particular user, or giving the limited access to file? Why it is very important? Because most of the times we just follow the YouTube tutorials. Like we will run the ch mode 600, we will run um, 777 command on particular file. We never think about we are opening or providing all permissions to the file user, group owner, and all other users with that kind of 777 permissions. And that's very excessive permission to provide on any folder or files, and which is wrong. If we think about the system hardening or the security, for your Linux system. So make sure you are utilizing these commands and think about the security every time you are implementing any project as a DevOps or SRE engineer. I have um, added couple of examples here for you. How to check the file permission. So you can use the file command, find command. You and um, use the different combination of file options to make sure your file um, has not excessive permission. Okay. Okay. The next thing is user account security. We create multiple users in our system, in Linux system. And for every user, we set password. So it's very important to have the expiry for those passwords. It's not only about the Linux system, it's about your Kubernetes cluster or the Jenkins servers or Grafana or Prometheus. There has to be a expiry for the password so that you can delete the older users which are not using your platform, or make sure the password is um, getting recreated to avoid any attacks. How to do that with a Linux system? It's very easy. You can use the chh command, and options are here. If you wish to do the service hardening, so we talked about the file system networking and the user hardening, but what about the services which are running on your Linux system? Okay, so for that you can use the systemctl command. You can disable the unnecessary services, and you can stop those services which are not useful for your system. Okay. This is optional for you, intrusion detection and prevention. There is very advanced command fail to ban. I never used it, but I thought let's add it. You can talk about these during interview only if you are confident, if you only if you are going to do the practical. Otherwise, completely skip this part because I don't want you to go with a blank slate and start talking about the fail to ban, but you are not able to answer what is intrusion detection and prevention during the interview. Don't get into that zone where you don't have the clear understanding of the concept. Okay, so this is optional for you. You can check it out, but all previous things which we discussed are very important. Then the next thing is log analysis and security. Logs always help. We have discussed this in our previous chapters as well. How to analyze the logs, what are the different commands available, how to use the grep command or the generalctl commands, how to use the tail command to read the logs, how to filter the logs using all these available Linux commands. There are very useful security logs available in your Linux. For example, var log or dot log. This provides you the uh, events of the authentication. It will log everything. If someone is trying to access with the wrong password or using sudo, everything will get logged into this file. Then there is a syslog file which stores the system messages. We have the secure log file which stores the security events, then messages which stores the general system. For every server there will be access and the error logs which you can check whenever there is an issue, just for your information. Okay. Okay, very very important and critical part is encryption and secure communication. um, you might have used the OpenSSL SSH keygen commands. GPG are optional. You can use the GPG for the file encryption and signing. You can use the OpenSSL for the SSL/TLS operations, SSH keygen and for the SSH key generation, and H for the modern encryption. So just check this out. Again, this is optional, but I want you to try all these um, security measures and uh, implement or make your system harden. If I want to highlight a couple of things from these day 16, and you should definitely try, is that let me go over the exercise which I have at the end of this. Basic firewall settings using UFW command, then implementing the password policies, then fail to ban, I'll leave it to you. That's optional. Securing file permissions, very important. Encrypting sensitive data. You can use GPG and tar for encryption. Then security audits and monitoring, very important part. And if you get time after this, make sure you go over the interview questions at least once. Why I'm saying this, because um, see, nobody is going to go into the security direction until and unless they are the security company. I have given the interview with the security companies like CrowdStrike is a security focused company. I was giving the interviews for a couple of security focused startups, and they were asking me about the security of the Linux system, um, not only about the commands, but what exactly happens and why I'm using that command. What are the different options available? What algorithm that command uses for the security or the encryption? Very, very important. If not, at least for my learners, they should know what are the different levels of the security hardening. How they can, what are the different, at what different levels they can harden their systems. At file system, network, controlling ports, controlling file controlling permissions for the users, right? Encryption for the data, password expiry, lot of different things. So I would suggest that if you're looking for some good project to add on into your resume, this is a perfect thing to do. You can set up your own cluster or couple of virtual machines and try to harden them. It is, and after that you can simply mention in your resume that you have hardened 500 servers with automation, and these are the things you have implemented in your system. And let me know what is the feedback from the interviewer or the recruiter. I'm sure it is going to help you a lot. um, okay, so that is all for this video. It is getting lengthy, so I'll have to stop it here. Thank you very much for watching this video till then. See you tomorrow. Bye bye, take care.